New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani is rolling out his new racial equity plan, but critics warn it is really just a backdoor blueprint for bigger government and a massive expansion of bureaucracy. The plan says that 62% of New Yorkers can't make ends meet, dramatically expanding the definition of who qualifies as financially struggling. And experts say that sets a dangerous precedent.
He's essentially saying that what the federal government qualifies as somebody below the poverty line, which is essentially like $34,000, $35,000 a year, we're essentially moving the goalpost. So anybody under $160,000 with children cannot afford to live in New York City. So when we move the goalposts into that direction, without actually recognizing what are the underlying issues of the disease, what are the actual problems that make New York City expensive, then we're just attributing a problem and throwing a dart at the board.
Right. So instead of tackling the real drivers of affordability, Mamdani is using these inflated benchmarks to justify more subsidies, more departments, and more government intervention. Caroline, that's what Brian and I have been talking about this with the pied-à-terre tax. Is this just like, what did you say, Brian? He wants to take Ken Griffin's penthouse and just divide it into like 100 little apartments and call it affordable housing. That's effectively, right, like the government overreach. Do you buy that?
Yeah, and also his housing czar, Sia Weaver, I mean, she's been so Orwellian in her public statements. And in the past, before she even entered this role, she literally said, our goal is to have so many properties that are dilapidated and deteriorated to the point where we can call them distressed so that the government can swoop in and basically absorb them and say, oh, well, now we got to own more housing. Now we have to control more of this sector. Yeah, I mean, they have a long game. It's very insidious, the plan, but it is the slippery slope to communism for sure. And also, it's important to note that it is endemic to progressivism that they have to keep growing. It has to keep aggrandizing. Never let a crisis go to waste. And if they don't have a crisis, if it doesn't exist, just manufacture one. Just invent a new metric.
He does have a problem, though. And that problem is a law that was passed, I believe, in 1974, the Financial Control Act, which says you got to balance the budget. And it's going to be increasingly hard to balance the budget on socialism. You can't end a year in New York City with a budget deficit, true deficit, under GAAP, of 100 million. I almost said $1 billion, 100 million, which is not a lot of money in a $127 billion budget.
Who made that law?
Hugh Carey and during the financial crisis.
But it's the New York State Legislature.
Yeah, and New York.
Did they repeal it?
You can theoretically repeal it, but it's not easy. And it would. And by the way, New York City bonds would go to zero, and then they wouldn't be able to finance anything. Well, but Felix Rodin, I should point out, the great philanthropist, was part of that in the 70s. So he's got to do it, and that's the problem that Mamdani will have. And again, they're playing a long game. Communists always do this. The Russian Revolution was not a popular revolution. If you look back, they kind of played the long game, and the long game here, though, time is not on his side, because the more people leave, the easier it is to work outside of New York. Ken Griffin could pick up and leave tomorrow.
But that's what we were arguing, that's what he wants.
Well, then.
So that the whole city, we drove the billionaires out.
What are you going to do?
Look at us.
Who's going to finance?
But then the tax base is gone.
The tax base is gone. This is never. It's going to declare bankruptcy. I mean, it's going to be over at some point.
By the way, that's the point. I really do think that this whole racial grievance peddling, which I thought we had outgrown that from 2020, the George Floyd era. I'm pretty sure most companies and the government was offloading this because it actually is inefficient.
It's also illegal.
It's also illegal, but it makes everything more expensive and everything slower and more efficient. But I think the point of this is to distract from the fact that the city is broke. And he knew that on the campaign trail.
He knows it because there's a $7.1 billion hole in his budget, right? So what he's doing is he is deferring or delaying pension payments, which the New York Post editorial.
It's always the first sign of
trouble.
Right.
And it harkens back to the maneuvers that got the city on the verge to the brink of bankruptcy in the 1970s. So what he's doing is he's trying to close the budget hole, pushing $1 billion worth of payments into the 2040s. So he's saddling future generations of New Yorkers with those payments. So I wonder, is he's just thinking about his own political future? It's like, I will deal with the here and now and screw New Yorkers a couple of decades.
The only thing, again, yes, he is, and probably because that's what they do, but unlike the 70s where there was no disclosure about the budget, there was really no budget. It was like some insane thing of, it was like stacks of papers, IOUs and tax receipts on one side in the city treasury office. Now there is a whole process. It's totally disclosed. Everything he does will be totally disclosed and debated. And if the remaining taxpayers want this government, they will, they'll still bear the fruits of it. More people will leave. That will be totally disclosed. The budget gaps, they have to do, I think, a 5-year budget outlook. All those budget gaps will be disclosed. So he's going to, it's not like he can get away with it, hide it.
No,
Can't
but
hide
do the people
here.
who vote for him care about any of that?
No, but doesn't
They
matter.
don't care about it. He's going to say, like, look at these. This is the old guard with their rules about they lock us into spending to keep themselves in power instead of getting in the way of the revolution. I'm here to lead a revolution, and it starts with getting rid of the old regime's rules. Charles.
Okay, so
that's why I asked: Can the state legislature
here's
repeal it?
Here's the one problem he's got. Again, this is a city that's dominated by unions, the teachers' unions, the municipal workers' unions. Again, a lot of these people, though, own homes that work for these municipal unions. I know this for a fact. They live out in Queens, and they, you name it. They live in the Bronx. They own homes in Throgs Neck. They own homes in Brooklyn. They own homes in these middle-class neighborhoods. At some point, when the worm turns, because when rich people leave, who pay 50%, 60% of the taxes, you're going to have to go to the homeowners and demand higher top property taxes. You already floated that once already. Mm-hmm. When that happens, that's when this thing, his political future really starts to.
But I think
hope
Because it
so,
impacts
but I
the middle
think
class.
that gives him
It's the
cause
middle
for
class.
his revolution. That's when the
that's
people
diminished
here.
already.
That's
I
down the
think it
road.
has a-
No, it's not. It's
And
not
he's
that
putting,
far.
by the way, you know what he's doing to all those people? He's trying to put them on the dole.
It's not.
He's saying if you make $160,000 in New York City, you are poor, but you need city
You need
assistance.
government.
Where's he going to get?
That's what he's
but
doing.
Where's he going to get the money if the Ken
DC.
Griffins of the world?
The math is not
2028
mathing.
federal
the math is
government.
not
I know.
mathing.
I hear
That's
you.
the
You
only
guys don't
way.
have to explain to me that the math's not mathing, but the math not mathing has never been his concern, and it's not going to stop
but
him now.
it's unfeasible in the long run because barring a federal government bailout, which is going to be highly controversial, particularly in a 50-50 divided nation, which I think it's more like 60-40 right versus left.
Yeah, people were mad about the SALT deduction.
Trump is a paralyzing.
He's going to find it in pensions that go unpaid. He's going to find it in more kinds of pied-à-terre deals. He's going to invent new.
If people leave, you get Detroit.
Yeah, I just don't think he cares. I don't think he cares about when it becomes Detroit.
I
But
think
maybe
this
you're
is
maybe
his
you're
whole
right.
plan.
I'm
He has
not
no
saying
choice but to
you're
care.
you're assuming a guy who's been irrational up to this point suddenly is going to get super rational about math. Well, I don't know.
I want to get rational about these markets. The NASDAQ is under pressure. You're down about 1.3%. And I wanted to take a look at shares of Oracle that are actually only down 4% and CoreWeave only down 5.7%. There was a big report out in the Wall Street Journal this morning that OpenAI is missing several of the revenue targets and user targets as well, some of key metrics. The journal's reporting that the CFO is also expressing concern that they can't afford their future computing needs if sales don't grow fast enough. That's what brings us back to Oracle and CoreWeave. Quick thoughts on if you guys are worried about this. OpenAI, for their part, say we're firing on all cylinders and everything's fine.
Well, the market.
Well, how can they have? You can't say both. You can't say, hey, we missed revenue targets and user targets, but everything is firing on all cylinders. Sora was a multi-billion-dollar disaster, and it shows that
That's a video thing?
They can't. Yes, they can't answer the question: what problem are you solving for actual people? You are being swamped by Anthropic in revenue, now also on deck to go public. It's not clear if this OpenAI problem, missing key revenue, missing user targets, is representative of plateauing in the overall AI market and the AI spend, or if it's unique to OpenAI, and that's straight from a tech executive I talked
If
to
you
this morning.
talk to Wall Street analysts, my podcast partner Bob Sloan at S3 Partners will tell you the sell-off in CoreWeave and Oracle. The street is now betting that it's way overdone. Particularly the
sell-off is overdone?
It's way overdone,
Okay.
and it's
We'll keep
reached the
watching
bottom.
that.
It's something to watch.
Well,
We will.
OpenAI is actually a separate problem from Oracle. Oracle, with its borrowing
Yeah, they
to
have-
continue to spend, has its own.
Although look at the chart.
Barrel
The chart's interesting
of
on Oracle.
snakes.
The chart is interesting. It's
We got to go, but we'll pull it up
Yeah.
and break, and I'll have it ready for you next block. Coming up, some companies are spending more on AI systems than on human employee salaries. We'll explain the impacts on the workforce next hour. But first up, some teacher unions across the country are reportedly pouring over $1 billion into liberal causes, creating questions surrounding the education system in our country. That's next when Big Money returns.